Hey family, welcome to another episode of Family Meeple. I'm Raymond, and this has arrived, this monstrosity. This is, from a board game perspective, brutality in a box. So this is from Ignacy. Been available now for I think about 10 years. This has been, I think, about the fourth iteration now. This was crowdfunded on Gamefound, and in typical fashion, Awaken Realms, part of the owners of the Gamefound platform, teamed up with Ignacy and Portal Games to deluxify their latest rendition of this game, which is Robinson Crusoe. So let's jump in and see what we have now. I have to confess, I have already been in here just to check out. There was one particular thing I was interested in checking out, which I actually bought a few copies of. So let's just dig into this, and that was this beauty here, the Book of Adventures. So what you get with this is a whole raft of additional scenarios that you can play through. So it says that the child gazes from their window to the storm outside. They see responsibilities building up at the edge of their life and yearn for adventure. The old man lays beneath a dusty quilt made up of moments. He sees a long life behind him and wishes for one last adventure. Adventure is the texture of life. The Book of Adventures awaits. Okay, so the Book of Adventures is a collection of scenarios. The classic cooperative survival game, Robinson Crusoe Adventures on the Cursed Island. Will you become a cryptozoologist, searching for answers, transform into an animal on Shapeshift Island, or play a gambler on the wrong side of luck? Perhaps you're searching for an important antidote, the Fountain of Youth, or a well-known magical ring. Maybe you want to experience the thrill of Neverland or Treasure Island. Become an action hero, challenge yourself against a tide of zombies, or struggle to save a dying island. With over 50 scenarios, we have an adventure for everyone. So what this gives you, as well as those particular scenarios, now I think there was one of these I have delved into, so I'm just going to have a look. So there was an option to buy a pack of these, which is what I did. See if I can identify the one I've already opened, which I probably can't. That's fine. Here it is. I think it was this one I've already opened. So one of these will be my own copy anyway. And then there was a bunch of extra copies. So I'm just going to pop those out of the way. Oh, there we go. Okay. So what do you actually get in here? Question. Just see if I can move this out of shot enough. There we go. And I can dig into that in a mo. And then there was an extra goodie there. Let's see if we can sit down. Okay. So what do we get with this wondrous book? Well, there's lots of crinkly stuff. I love the design work on this. I did a tremendous job. Just really beautiful. Obviously, got the spot finish on there, but yeah, no gloss at all on the inside of the actual books, the pages. So it goes into depth as to how it works. You've got sort of the specific special actions that you can do. There's a labelling system, and then it breaks down the format of the adventures and the scenarios that you can actually play through. And we'll dig into the main game in a moment. But what it does, it gives you a difficulty rating. So you have the difficulty of there is hope, so that's easy. There's a small chance that you might survive. There is no chance you are going to survive, and then there's straight to hell. So yeah, give you an idea of the difficulty level of this game. I think win ratios are probably less than 1 in 10 times you're going to play this game and actually survive. But you also then have an audience breakdown as well. So there are specific adventures that are more family oriented and kid friendly. There are ones that are much more for the experts table, and then there's ones in here that are for everyone to have fun. It also then breaks it down in terms of length of time, so you could die in 5 minutes. There are specific genres, so you can have a castaway story, unusual perils, the book and movie inspired specific scenarios. So there's a whole plethora of ways that this presents the game and how you can actually engage with the game. So that effectively there's these core rules that you learn on how to play the game, and then you mix it up with these particular scenarios that you would play through. So here, for example, we've got Treasure Island, and it tells you this is a die in 5 minutes length, it's a book or movie inspired, and it's kids and family oriented. And it gives you then some special actions, some special rules, and the goal of the scenario and the setup changes. And then it will go through There Is Hope. So this is an easy one, as is this one. Yeah, so it breaks these down. So you've got this wonderful color-coded system. So straight to hell, no chance, small chance, and then you've got these guides up here as to what is the genre, the length, as well as the intended audience for these particular scenarios. And monkeys gone bananas, all kinds of scenarios, wacky-doos. The artwork, as always, is tremendous fun. So you've got that in there, lots of information, the time travel scenario. So yeah, just lots and lots of goodies in here. The cannibal island is trying to escape being cooked, and there are repeats of these particular scenarios as well, where they've modified them accordingly in terms of the intended audience or the difficulty, and they've given you a level of flexibility in how to approach these. And then we have some specific cards that will then apply to the specific scenario. So there might be additional items that you've already seen in the existing core game, or there might be additional encounters that you're going to come across as you venture into the game itself. Right, I'm just going to see if I can move this a little bit more. Okay, without it dropping off the table. We'll see. If it is a massive clash partway through this video, you know it went. Okay, so this, instead of the board, they have the option of a beautiful neoprene mat. It's all the rage nowadays, of course. But yeah, I mean, it is, and I say that in jest, of course. It is just such a nice experience to play. I mean, you can see the size of this. I mean, I can't even get it all on the camera. It's mostly on the camera, but I really like, again, that they've stuck to the original stylization. So you've got here, so this is, it looks like it's text, but it is just scroll in the form of text, so like little notepad images. So this is where cards will go as you play through the adventure. These will be your items that you've stored up. So this is a crate in the camp. This is where you'll be building your camp itself, because obviously it's a survival game, so you need to build a camp in order to help you survive the storms and the weather and all kinds of stuff that this island is going to be continually throwing at you. You will then have abilities to be able to try and build your island, which gets easier or more difficult depending on how many people you've got, things like that. You've got various resources, I believe, here. You've got a space at the bottom here of the cards that you'll be encountering as you play through the game. So you'll have wild animals that you'll encounter. You're actually trying to hunt for in order to gain food. You've got things that you can build and tools, as well as then other gathering stuff. I think that's how all those work. And then there are exploratory things. So what you see here in the main centre of the board is, this is the actual island upon which you are stranded, you're a castaway. So it's on this island then that you are trying to survive, and as you've seen, there'll be those different scenarios you'll be encountering. So there'll be different tile sets that you'll encounter and come across and unveil, depending on the specific scenarios that you're playing. And you will start maybe here, for example, and then it will cost you person to then explore and move out. And as you explore and venture into other areas, you'll be encountering different things that you'll be coming across and then trying to survive against. And all the while, the island itself will be working its way against you. So you've then got these other areas up here of things like weather conditions and all kinds of stuff, and the number of rounds that are encountered. I think this is your turn counter as it goes through from the morning through to the evening, so the weather effect, and then you'll settle down for the night and then start the next day. I think that's the gist of how that's operating there. And I think this is an area then you could lay out your book. So it gives you the space, although it's a big board, neoprene area, it gives you everything you need all in that one space. So very good, and it is just such a nice experience being able to pick stuff up off of that neoprene mat. You've got that little bit of sponginess, and just gives you that a bit of deluxified experience. So this is the first time, as far as I'm aware, that they've produced a neoprene option for Robinson Crusoe, so it's nice to have that as part of your deluxified experience. So that's good. Okay, so let's just pop that aside. So I'm just tinkering with stuffs. Okay, so what else have we got? We've got a mysterious tales envelope. Now, experience has taught me envelopes that are sealed are to remain sealed until such a time as you're instructed to open them. So I'm not even going to venture into here, I'm afraid. So at some point, maybe in the future, you might see a glimpse on this channel of what is in this secret box, but I am not about to open it now. Okay, so what else have we got? We've got Kickstarter extras. Sorry, Kickstarter. So crowdfunded extras. So this is the sailor and the gamers. This is miniatures and the actual player cards. So let's have a look and see. And I've not got my trusted scalpel to hand, so let's see if I'm going to revert to my nails. Here we go. Okay. Let's dig in here. Let's see. Okay, so all very well packaged. And what have we got? So we've got the gamer. So you have the option of playing the female gamer or the male gamer. So this is the same orient with all of the player boards that you can play in the game. So then there's specific abilities that you'll have that you can play as you go through the game. And I like the fact that they've actually got, I don't know if that's coming up on the screen, but these are indented. So you know, it says no worries if you knock the board. Your little heart life tokens and trackers are going to be, so this is triple layered, so you've got the indentation on both sides, which is nice. I do appreciate that. It does make a big difference. There's very little more annoying in my experience of having a game that is a great game and then companies produce a board with areas to put stuff that you need to track things and then don't give it a means to actually hold that stuff in place. So annoying. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. Okay, so we have the 2-player board. So this is then this is the sailor, the other option. It's available and again, male or female. Have those options there. Okay, and then these are the miniature representatives of each of those, and you get 2 of each. There we go. The male and female sailor, and the gamers. Very good. Do like the detail on those. Well packaged. Excellent. Look forward to digging into what differences and changes they bring to the play format. Now again, this is not a game that I have played previously. I specifically backed it on the basis that, you know, any board game that's been around for a decade and survived the test of time, in my mind, I think is worthy of looking at and finding out more about. And that was very much what I did. So, okay, this is an invoice thingy, so let's just stash that out of the way. Okay, so what have we got in the box? Okay, so we have the Mystery Tales expansion. I'm going to have to get my scalpel. Okay, so the Robinson Crusoe Mystery Tales expansion is the second expansion. So there is a first expansion in the box for the acclaimed game of Castaway Survival, Robinson Crusoe Adventures on a Cursed Island. This expansion includes an entirely new way to play, in addition to some familiar components to add a variability to the base game. Embark on an expedition where haunting challenges await. Play 2 scenarios that will test even the most experienced of players. Experience Robinson Crusoe with the all-new horror mode experience. There we go. This is being touted on the back of the box. I'm just going to set that aside for a moment. As I say, I've not been in here. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of cards. Good. Okay. We have spyglasses. Illusory hope. Enough staring at the empty horizon. No ship will ever reach you. Here it's time to quit living on illusory hopes. Damn spyglass. Break the spyglass in half to gain 5 of these tokens. I don't know what that token means, so apologies for that. Additionally, after the game, record your breaking of the spyglass on Twitter and join the group of players that broke spyglasses. There we go, so we have those. So they're effectively kind of almost a get out of jail free card and an option and ability to be able to make the game a little bit easier as you're playing through and trying to survive. Okay, so this is the Robinson Crusoe treasure chest. Okay, thick fog covers the whole island as if to diminish all hope. The only sounds are soft slices of a shovel digging into the sandy ground. The dimmed glow of a lantern stands next to a hole about a metre deep, lighting the outline of a muscular man in a shirt with the sleeves rolled way up. Raindrops begin to fall, which is of little matter to the digger, who continues the task until the satisfying clang of the shovel against metal. As the tool meets resistance, the seeker's pupils widen. He drops to his knees and rushes to dig with his bare hands. He's found it. The treasure chest, long missing for decades, unveils its heavy, decaying lid. Experience the adventure of the mysteries of the cursed island in a whole new way, combining new components with those from the basic version of the game. Improve your shelter and face new beasts. Feel the adventure calling thanks to this infinite replayability. Okay, so we see here, it looks like we included maybe the gamer and the sailor player cards, and I'm guessing with the new miniatures that we've now got, that's the additional content that expands this and deluxifies that much further. So we've got that. Now let's have a look at what else we've got in the box. Okay, again, very well packaged. And there. Collector's edition. Nice. Okay. So, what have we got? You hold in your hands the long-awaited collector's edition of the legendary game featuring death and adventure. Get ready, for you and your friends are about to be cast away onto an uninhabited, cursed island. Your task is to build a shelter, overcome danger, and complete one of the many challenge scenarios that confront you. The 7 scenarios in this box provide you with many unique, challenging ways to play. Okay, so you can see there, you can get to, you explore the island, you put these tiles out as you maneuver yourself around, you uncover its secrets, so each tile that you flip over has different things on there that you discover. You set up your camp, you survive, so it contains the collector's edition 18 miniatures, as well as the Gamefound exclusives of the actual modular camp and the animal companions, as well as a dice tower. Very nice. And then you go, there's a new way to learn the game as well. So this is one of the big things that people, I think, commented on in general. It was quite a steep learning curve to figure out how to play the game. So they've actually really focused on how to make it easier to get it to the table for your first experience, first playthrough. So that is in there. Oh my gosh, there's so much more in here. Okay, let's see. I have to dig in. Are they all? Yeah, okay, they're all sleeves, so we don't need to see those. So that's fine. And a bunch of. Oh look, you get some sleeves. We know what sleeves look like, so I'll toss them back in the box. Okay, so what else have we got then? We've got a Robinson Crusoe Adventures little packet of something, the chest promo. This is, I'm guessing at some point, what we have with a lot of these games nowadays, there's a lot of promo material that gets produced at some point that people can maybe back another Kickstarter or another crowdfunding opportunity, and then as a reward they can opt to get additional little promo content. So I'm guessing that's what this is, so I'm not going to dig into that. We have lots of beautiful little resources. So let's have a look at those. So deluxified resources, that's what it is. So these are, of course, bits of wood. Let's have a look. Bits of wood. I love the fact they've gone to the trouble of putting a little sticky out twig on the rock. Is that focusing? Kind of. There you go. That's better. Brilliant. Love that. Yeah, nicely textured all around. Very good. Excellent. So we have some wood, which of course we'll be needing to recover if we're going to be building our camp. Lost one, sorry about that. Okay. We have, of course, food in the form of bananas. Excellent. Do you like it? Very good. Oh. Some not quite as painted as others. Okay, I can touch those up a bit. So the idea was that they'd all have these little black bits on them, and some not so much. So that one missed the painting process entirely, but that's fine. I can daub a bit of paint on there. That's not a problem. Put those in. So we've got some deluxified components there. We've got, like this. I don't know what the flat things are, but we'll have a look. So if we can figure them out. That looks like bread, perhaps. Toast. Of course, your fire. A little campfire. Like that. Very good. Okay. Those, and they are feeling like they're resin by the feel of them, but it's always nice to have those deluxified components. Just helps to enhance that gaming experience. So I'm guessing these are kind of pelts, animal pelts. So as you slaughter animals to survive, you get to take their pelts, and you can then spend their pelts to make clothes and enhance your shelter and various things like that. One would presume, thinking quite literally, what would you do with animal skins on a desert island? Not that it's something I have experienced. And then we have, what have we got? We've got a little tent, which I'm guessing was what we use to indicate where our home base is. So as we set up the tiles as we begin the game, and then we've got little hearts, so you can track your health. So there should be, so flat on one side should be enough for each player, and that will sit in that indented tracker that we saw with the Sailor and Gamer boards, and they all come in a bigger baggie. So I'll pop those back in there. Try and keep myself organised. And then what else have we got? We've got some enhanced dices. Have a look. Oh, there we go. Oh, wooden dices, no less. I like that. Okay, let's have a look at those. Wait for the camera to focus. Zoom in. There you go. Okay, so we've got various bits and bobs and good stuff and bad stuff on there. I've got no idea what any of that iconography means, so I can't talk to those. But yeah, it looks like you've got one colour per dice. Some of the dice have no effect, which I'm guessing generally is a good thing if you're trying to complete a task. And then there'll be other dice with an effect, which means there'll be a consequence of trying to complete a task. I'm just manoeuvring myself around the office because I'm looking for my blade in order that I can dig into the boxes, and I've got stuff stuck to my feet. Ouch. Okay. Okay, so let's dig into the main box. What have we got in here? Okay, so we've already read the blurb on the back. Let's dig in and see what goodies they have in store for us in this collector's edition. So this is of course the second collector's edition we've seen produced from Gamefound, the first being Castles of Burgundy special edition. So we'll see if this continues as a trend for other publishers, perhaps for long-standing games, maybe coming back to make a revisit and deluxify. Okay, so introductory campaign guide, like it. Okay, so what does it say? You are a pirate crew sailing under the flag of the Great Red Vixen, and it seems the honest sailors have finally taken heed to your various sins. All previous safe harbours now welcome you with cannon fire. It's high time to disappear for a while and wait for the wanted posters to fade. Fortunately for you, the Red Vixen once told you about an extraordinary island called Tamatoa, where all pirates may find sanctuary. The Red Vixen provided a map with the approximate location of Tamatoa and warned that it may be a difficult journey, but assured you that after your time on Tamatoa you'll be free of strife and welcomed back to her fleet with open arms. Robinson Crusoe is a cooperative board game in which your team takes on various scenarios with unique goals. It's an introductory campaign tutorial designed to teach you how to play Robinson Crusoe by introducing you all the elements and mechanics of the game step by step. The scenario included here as part of the single story, and in the standard game you play one scenario, but for the purposes of presenting the rules step by step, the tutorial includes 4 consecutive scenarios. We suggest reading the guide aloud to all players, to everyone can learn all at the same time. This tutorial slowly and simply introduces you to the rules one by one, so some rules may be slightly different or simplified from the standard rules found in the rulebook. Scenarios of the tutorial are prepared to play with 2 characters, but the standard Robinson Crusoe games can be played anywhere between 1 and 4. If you want to learn using this tutorial in a bigger group, players decide together which actions the characters take, but remember, in a standard game, each player controls their own characters. There we go. So they've and this was one of the big things, as I mentioned earlier. They really wanted to make an attempt to make it so much easier to get it to the table, get it simplified. And yeah, I mean, what tends to happen with myself, and I know certainly with many others out there, is that as the person who's responsible for learning the rules, learning how to play, and then bring it to others for them to join in, this is very much might be my task to go through this, play through all these scenarios, work out those nuances that are then actually adjusted in the main rules, so that then I can bring it to the table with other people and get them engaged and involved. So this goes you then through the setup of scenario 1, so it walks you through how to do all of that, and it takes you through the overall overview, so when does the game end, the round overview, and then you've got the action phase and planning, you've got the action phase and resolution, and then you've got the game overview and the next rounds, and then you go into the second scenario, and it talks, obviously mentioned at the beginning there, you've got 4 scenarios in here that are designed to be played consecutively back to back in order to learn the core rules and mechanics of the game. Okay, so exclusive content. Thank you for supporting the Robinson Crusoe Collector's Edition on Gamefound. We couldn't have made it without your support. Be interested to know if this, because I have noticed that unlike Kickstarter, where there is a lot of exclusive content, so I noticed, so for example on the back of the box, it mentioned there's a number of elements in here that are Gamefound exclusive. What I'm aware in Kickstarter, certainly what a lot of the companies do is, from a campaign perspective, when they produce Kickstarter exclusive content, unless you back that campaign and fund it in that Kickstarter process, you do not have access to those Kickstarter exclusive content and those goodies. So if anybody, that's a kind of perk for those that are saying, okay, I'm going to support the funding of this project, and I'm going to pay up front in order that I glean these extra benefits. So there's kind of a bit of a kind of quid pro quo on, you know, them asking you to support their funding and you receiving something that's unique in return for that. Now, what I noticed was with the adventure book, there is a version of the adventure book that is, I think it's sort of like 25 scenarios. And then there is the Gamefound exclusive version of the adventure book. Now, what I've noticed is that these adventure books are available for sale with all the Gamefound exclusive content. So hence my course for pause and thoughts on this, where it's talking about specifically, thank you for supporting this, because for myself, obviously I did support it, I did back it ahead of receiving any content, ahead of this, you know, being physically produced, manufactured. There'll be others potentially, certainly with regards to this book, that will buy this book and they will receive the same content, but obviously didn't fund the project. So it's a bit weird to me. I'm not entirely sure how that works out. So yeah, a bit bizarre, but there you go. Okay. Sorry, my front door is just triggered. So Alexa, stop showing front door. Wonders of working in an office space. So anyway, let's have a look. So upgraded components, we've got the miniatures, we'll dig into those in a moment. We've got the dice tower, which we saw on the back of the book. We've got the upgraded modular camp and the triple layered character boards. So it sounds like the original game had only the single layer character boards. Personally, I find very frustrating, so really happy to see that as an enhanced product of this game. So unlocked additions, so this is all the additional content then that got unlocked as part of the crowdfunding campaign on Gamefound. Okay, so we've got new animal companions and adventures and card effects. So in fact, we've got miniatures for these animal companions. So we saw that on the back of the box, as well as a new unlocked additions. We've got weather tiles, and there's a cave mini expansion, and then there's also optional add-ons. So that was that big deck of cards that I came across earlier that talks to those here. Okay, so they're rotten wounds. Well, they sound delightful, don't they? Lowry totems and a pirate's map. Okay, sounds like good fun. Okay, and then for the other components, then we've got the painted resin components, which you saw. We've got the playmat, which you saw. We've got the treasure chest promos. So that was the small deck of cards that I didn't open up. So that's promos. So it looks like maybe they were part of this campaign, in which case maybe I'll dig into those a little bit. We've got the Sailor and Gamer, which you've seen. We've got the Horror Dice, which you've seen. And there was an option to have Sundrop miniatures and the Spyglass tiles, which you've also seen. So that's all the exclusive content there. So we've got a cave with an explorer. So I believe that may be the starting position. So that'll be the first point where you always begin. And then you move out from there, as I was showing you earlier on the board. These are the additional tiles that you get, as well as then some additional goodies tiles there. So it looks like maybe there's some randomness to the initial setup. So as you put your first initial tile down, if you notice, this is the same as this icon here. So it looks like you would shuffle those up perhaps, and when you first set out, you effectively get some extra little goodies to sort of set you going, as well as some toxic spores. Maybe they're not all goodies. Okay, so we get our dice tower. So I will build that in a little while. You don't need to see me sat here building a dice tower, I'm sure. So introductory campaign scenario book. So in addition to this, which takes you through how to do everything, you actually get the actual scenario book. So this will mirror what we saw earlier with the other book, in terms of you'll have the layout, and then so there you go. So a warm welcome to Tamatoa. There we go. So as we already know, we've got 4 scenarios in here. So scenario 2, which way the wind blows. Scenario 3, looking for answers. And this is all very much to teach you the process of how to play the game. And then Lords of Fog as the final scenario. And it will introduce bit by bit all the different mechanics. And of course some fantastic artwork from the designers. Okay, we've got some miniatures, so I'm just going to pop those aside because everyone, of course, is here to see those. Let's have a look. We've got the triple layered player boards, and again, obviously triple layer because they are both sides, and both sides you want to have that indentation for your heart trackers. So we came then with the soldier. So there's the soldier man and the soldier girl. My assumption would be, beyond the graphics, there is no difference in terms of actual gameplay, whether you're playing a male or a female. You get the explorer, female and male. So the original characters that came the game, we get the cook. So female cook and male cook. And then we get the female carpenter and male carpenter. There we go. So a little bit of warpage on there, presumably because of the triple layering. So you notice that one is, you see that slightly bowed. I'm thinking because of the triple layering, they would have had to glue those. And yeah, I mean, I think we all experienced that. You know, if nothing else, growing up as kids, being at play school with a PVA style glue. As you put stuff together, as it dries and shrinks, that of course gives you that bowing. So I think that's what we're witnessing and observing there. Wow, this is big. What is in here? I think it's mostly air. Yes, it's air. So let's just have a look. This is truly on. So I think there's a lot of space to put stuff in. And not much in there. Okay, wow, okay. crab. So I think this is indicating who the current first player is. Got the original tokens. Excuse me. So I'm still suffering from the clocks changing. It's Easter weekend. The clocks have just changed. Boy, have I felt the impact. Okay, so the original game was you would have, there we go, these stickers that you would put on these tokens, and they would indicate what these particular resources are. So that was a way to track that. I'm guessing with these being pink, I mean, they're looking like maybe they're animals. You've got a horse and a parrot and a dog. I think the dog is a companion, and it's maybe a monkey. Who knows? Okay, so we've got that, and a seashell, the yellow thing, maybe. Seashell, perhaps? Okay. Oh, we've got a barcode. Wreckage tile. You can get rules here. Okay. So there's a wreckage tile, folks. And a bunch of cards. So I think this is older artwork, or certainly reminiscent of older artwork from the original go back games. It's not focusing there. Commanding bird. Okay. Some cards and some placeholders for stuffs. There's your tent. Animals. Okay. So a rather empty box for everything else to go into. And I think that's the idea, is that this gives you the capability then to store everything from not just the core box of the game, but also the expansions as well. That's my understanding. Although I'm genuinely surprised there wasn't more in here. I'm sure it'll all work its way out. Okay. So, miniatures. Oops. Let's have a look. What have we got? So, again, in typical format, we've got 2 of each of the characters. So we can get a bit of a zoom in on them. We'll work our way down. So we've got the cooks and the adventurer, explorer, and then we've got some helpers. So I'm guessing there's maybe the dog, and maybe that's Friday as a helper. And then we start getting into the components that are, it looks like we've got some compass tokens. We've got the components that are the shelter. So that starts to get made up. So they wanted this as a physical shelter with all its little bits and bobs. It's got a canopy and a fence and a roof. You've got some animals that we encounter. There's a horse. We've got a missing token. Okay. I'm sure that'll be explained. I'm sure there'll be lots of people asking, what goes in there? Like me right now when I'm looking at that. And then some plastic rings to go around bases of stuff. Okay. Let's have a quick look at this. If I can get it out. Go.
The camera isn't responding.
Thanks for that, Alexa. There we go. That's nice. It's nice. I mean, this will come up. So as you can see, I didn't go for the sun drop option. Basically because I paint my own miniatures. So I'll be painting these myself, as you can see on the channel. So yeah, I figured there was not much point paying extra to have sun drop for something I was then just going to paint over. Didn't make sense in my book. Okay, so that is what we get in the main box, which I'm surprised at. It's surprisingly light on content, and I'm not entirely sure why, because I'm sure if you went and bought this, there would be more in there. But there you go. That's just me. Not quite sure what that is. Okay, so that's the core box. Let's have a look at the treasure chest. This is the first expansion to Robinson Crusoe. I wonder... Do you know what? I've got another box in my box. Box in a box. I feel like I've just finished. I'll tell you what, I've just finished reading Dune, and there's a lot of that in Dune. I noticed a plan within a plan within a plan, a feign within a feign within a feign, and all that kind of stuffs. And that's what this reminds me of now. Is a box in a box in a box. So I'll tell you what. Before I'm going to dig into that, I'm going to have a look because I think I've got a dear friend who got me into board gaming, and I purchased for him the basically kind of the booster box. So he's already got the core game, and all he needs is the additional content. So I think that's what that is. I have got another box in my box, so I'm going to open that one as well, and I'm just going to take a look and see if that perhaps contains any more. Oh. Dear me. There's definitely box lift, there's lid lift on here. So I suspect there's more content in here. I think this is the full box. So, okay, so what we've just been looking at then, folks, is for those that already had the game and had been players for the last decade and have enjoyed it and wanted the additional content, what Gamefound made available was the ability to buy effectively the add-ons. So you could purchase just the additional content because obviously you've already got all the base materials. You don't need everything. So I think that was the box that we just went through. So if you were one of those people that already had all the content and you just needed the extras, then that is what you would get if you had backed just that aspect. This, I suspect, then, is the everything. Definitely higher. This we didn't see in that one. So, ouch! Damn it! Excuse me. That was the third time William hit his thumb with this hammer. Whose idea had it been to have him repair the storm-battered palisade? Finger in mouth, he glanced at the woods. Typical, leaving the heavy work to the cook, while Jane is out somewhere exploring, accompanied, of course, by Carpenter Mark. To make things worse, he'd had no success fishing that morning. The only hope was that Rose would return from the hunt successfully, or they'd have to go to bed with empty stomachs again. So this gives you an idea of what it's like. Here we go. So this is the main rules, which I'm sure would have also been updated. Certainly all the graphics are very much in keeping with the others that we've seen thus far. But yeah, people, like I say, it's very, very highly accredited, very well received. But there was a lot of commentary around being difficult to get to the table, specifically for new starters, new people. And obviously you need that new lifeblood. Okay, so we've got then the introductory campaign, which we've seen, the guide, the exclusive content, thank you. Okay, we have some additional campaigns. There we go, so new scenarios in the book. Cannibal Island. Okay, we've got Family Robinson. We've got Jenny Needs Help scenario. Volcano Island. We've got Castaways. And we've got the Cursed Islands. We've got those. There we go, those animal stickers, which we've seen. We've got the Clark. Here we go, yeah. So this is what I thought initially was looking at again. The original game came with discs. So rather than miniatures, you had these discs that you could flip over one way or the other to indicate is it male side, the female side, and then you would have all of your different characters that you choose from to play, as I mentioned, like the cook, etc. We've seen now. So we've got that there. We've got the dice towel, which we've seen. Here we go. Here we go. So we've got tiles. I did think that box was very. I was like, not sure about this. Okay. Right. So we've got plenty of tiles in here. Let's have a look at those. Excellent. You do have to laugh sometimes, guys. You do this stuff, it's like, what doesn't make sense? Okay, so we got all the tiles and little punchboard tokens. And the flip side, so you stack them up like this, and this is where you don't then know, as you're exploring around the island, you don't know what you're going to be coming across. So we've got those tiles there, and we've got one of these tiles. There you go. They've got the volcano tile. That is the starting tile for every scenario, unless there's an explicit tile just for a particular scenario. But generally, that is the starting tile, and it's indicated by this volcano on the back. There we go. Some various tiles. Yeah, and as you've already seen the introductory campaign, we've already seen the miniatures, we don't need to go through those again. We have the original board, which you've seen the neoprene for. So this is exactly the same, but it's the we've got the neoprene. We've got a flash card, so that's handy. So again, presume this came for those that have already got the main game and the expansions. There was one of those in the originals. There we go, so you get a really handy little flashcards with an indicator of the strength of the beasts, distribution of dice results, so you can work out, okay, what are my odds if I've only got one person to go to do this particular action versus two people. Generally, you will have the option to do an action and allocate an additional person to assist, and that will significantly reduce the chances of bad stuff happening. So this is, I'm guessing, for the resources. Alexa, stop showing front door. So we've got the tokens there. No, Alexa, stop showing front door. There we go. Okay. All right. So we've got the original resources that came in the original game. So these have been upgraded now. Lots of baggies. The original dice were plastic dice. Wow, dark brown dice with black icons. Okay. Interesting choice. Obviously all been upgraded now. Here we go. There's lots and lots of tokens. So these are all the things that you would then be putting your stickers on to indicate these are the guys that are doing the actions, moving around the island. And then the helpers, as you saw before, the crab, your first player token. Got a bunch of mini cards, which you saw in the other ones, so hammers and nails. So you have the option to craft items that you'll need in order to do other things on the island and survive. Oh, and a whole bunch of additional cards. Here we go. Which are obviously missing from the other box, because these are the additional cards, the normal cards that you would have in the base games. You've got some treasures and something else, explorations perhaps, and weather perhaps, I'm guessing those. We've got some carcass, and if you don't cook it properly you're going to end up with diarrhea. So yeah, so as you discover something, there will generally be the initial discovery aspect of the card, and then it gets shuffled into another deck, and if it comes back around again, that's when you have the consequence of that. So I think some of these you may have an opportunity to deal with that initial thing, to avoid it being shuffled in for you to then have to deal with a later consequence. So it just depends what you've got on hand at the time as to whether you can deal with and cope with that. Okay, so and obviously then there's lots of space in here for everything else to go in. What am I missing here? So I think that went on there. The space for all my goodies goes on there. This goes on here. I find it interesting that I bought the booster box, but it didn't come with an extra bag of resin tiles. That's an interesting choice. I found this. Do you know what, guys? I found this as well with when I backed Castles of Burgundy, the collector's edition. There was the option to buy. I'm trying to think what I call them, servants, skivvies, what have you, the helper dudes. There was an option to buy those in resin, but I never saw that on the campaign. So I got absolutely everything except for these additional resin tokens. And then suddenly I see people posting on Facebook, oh yeah, I've got these resin tokens. I'm like, well, where the heck was that on the campaign? And I feel a bit similarly frustrated, to be completely honest with you, having bought an extra, having bought the booster box, like I say, specifically for my friends, not for me. And now he's going to have that booster box, but he's not going to have these additional resin tokens, and there wasn't an option, or at least that I saw, to add an additional. I just find that quite frustrating, I have to be honest. Okay, anyway, that aside, let's put that over there. Okay, so what did we get in the treasure chest? So I've already read the blurb on the back. Okay, so thick fog covers the whole island, as if to diminish all hope. The only sounds are soft slices of a shovel digging in the sandy ground, which is what we read before. So that's the same blurb as is on the back of the box. Okay, tracing Dr. Livingstone. There we go. So we've got some historical characters being referenced in here as well. So. Okay, so a bit of an introductory blurb. There we go. So we've got the gamer and the sailor, and so yeah, you can see here the original cards, no triple layer. So your trackers would have just been sliding all over the place. We had the spyglass was introduced in here, so we've got a bunch of spyglasses. Came this, lots of new cards. Some new tokens for your additional characters. We get a bag. Ooh, we get a bag in the first one. Okay, so we've got a bag of stuff to pull from. Fishies! I like that. Why would I know resin fish? Don't know. Okay, and parrots. Again, didn't see any resin parrots either. Okay, interesting choices. Stickers for the tokens. Lots of additional cards. Always an artist. So maybe a helper that you discover. Some animals and items you get to craft. There's some little bits of stuff, clues perhaps, maybe numbered. Number 3, number 4, 5, 6. Don't know what happened to number 1 and 2. We've got some newspaper stuffs. Very interesting. Okay, wow. And another newspaper article. Okay, very different. And we've got the Treasure Island Scenario 9, tracing Dr. Livingstone. And the time travel and poachers. There we go. So yeah, quite different again. So I look forward to digging into all the ins and outs of what that additional content looks like and means, because right now it means nothing to me. I have to confess, like I say, I've not played the original, but looking forward to doing so. And then we have the horror experience. Do like a good bit of horror, as you of course know on this channel, with the likes of Cthulhu Death May Die and lots of zombies, which I do enjoy as well. And one more slide. There we go. So, what comes? Mystery Tales. And again, these are, as far as I'm aware, these are just reprints of the original contents that have been out there for a while now. So how to survive and not go insane. Rulebook. Very good. We always like to survive and not go insane. There we go. So there's some core changes to the game that you need to be aware of. Variations on the campaign mode. And then you've got the actual horror mode information as well as an appendix. And new icons and symbols. There we go. So diary of expedition participants. Very good. Don't know how any of that works. The lost city of Z. Z? Z? Don't know. Here we go. Campaign information. So lots of, again, little campaigns that can be played through. Very good. The Belly of the Beast campaign. Hunting convicts. And another in Belly of the Beast and hunting convicts. They're the same. There'll be something different, I'm sure. Okay, look the same. We'll dig into that in more detail rather than you sat watching me staring at a piece of card. Ooh, contains Colonel Fawcett's diary. Do not open unless instructed. Let's hide that back away. Okay, so we got some more tokens, more wooden tokens, lots more cards. Wow. Okay, we've got Awakening, Wetward again. You've got the top one that you would encounter as soon as you draw the card. You've got the bottom one, my guess is, that will then get shuffled in and encounter later on if you come across it again. That is what I've seen thus far. Got some stickers. They look like they go on the dice, but presumably for these, perhaps. More cards. Yeah, so typical 3 and extras. Ooh, some people is. Madness, or that's your insanity deck, or the equivalent of, one would assume. And then some like little mini cards, again, variation on the original. So in this case, you've got a shaman showing there, and some icons. So maybe that's where these can, perhaps maybe they enact that in some way. And some more little cubes. So again, there's for some more baggies. And we've got some more tiles. Look at those. So what have we got? So we've got new areas to explore, of course, as you would expect with an expansion. Ooh, so they look like some horror areas there. Wow, okay. Maybe they turn into horror areas, perhaps. Maybe something happens, an event happens, make things much worse. All these are multi-layered. Okay, so you can track stuff across here. Okay, so you've now got life and insanity, or sanity. Okay, yeah, on both of those. Yeah, interesting. Again, that looks like maybe a horror mode on there. Very good. Okay, so that is what you get in the Mystery Tales box. So as I mentioned, Mystery Tales and the Treasure Chest, they've been out for quite some time. The Robinson Crusoe main box has been out for some time. They've deluxified that, really focused on making that deluxified experience. You've got the neoprene map now, you've got the additional goodies, you've got that massive adventure book with all those additional scenarios and complexities and ways to play, the variation in there. Got lots of additional cards. So lots and lots of additional content, as well as obviously those miniatures that we brought to bear and the resin tokens for your game. So there you go. So lots of new content to enjoy your existing game, or in my case, to experience the wonderful new world of Robinson Crusoe. And that's it, folks. That's my unboxing. I hope you've enjoyed being here today. If you've enjoyed this, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of my content, encourage me to make more, please do go ahead and subscribe, and I will keep producing this content. I hope you've enjoyed your time here today. I certainly have. I'm really looking forward to digging into this, and hopefully at some point soon you'll see this on the table. Otherwise, that's it, folks. Thanks very much for joining, and I will see you again soon.